And what is up, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, the one and only Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders of the RCWR show, coming at you with another installment of our Call That Match edition. As this time around, we're going to be tackling the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view that's going to be happening this Sunday, October 26th. And if you can't be there live to see it in person, you have the next best thing, which is calling up your cable or satellite providers. Check it out on pay-per-view, or if you want to save a ton of money, you can check it out on the WWE network for a undisclosed monthly or yearly amount. All right, we are going to be talking about predictions for this pay-per-view. As always, we want to get you guys involved. So, those of you that's going to be checking out this live webcast edition on YouTube, we definitely want to hear from you all. Post those comments. Let me know what you think is going to be going down at that pay-per-view. You can also interact with us on Twitter at the RCWR Show or on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. Remember, that's to infinity and beyond. Put in the E. Make sure you throw in the actual number one, Infinity One Productions. You know, Hell in a Cell, always one of my favorite matches, and for the past few years now we've been getting the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Always kind of makes me feel kind of special, kind of has me just have a little bit of nostalgia when I think about all the previous Hell in a Cell matches that we've gotten over the years. This time around, we're going to see not one, but two Hell in a Cell matches. Let's go on ahead and let's tackle this card right now, because I've been looking forward to checking this out all week long, all right? Now, of course, the pre-show, those of you that might not be aware, the pre-show is going to have a special host, which is none other than The Miz. That should be must-see TV. Well, no, then again, it's Miz TV. So, hey, to each its own. Sometimes it's on point. Other times it's a little bit flat. It should be interesting to see how that pre-show comes about. I do hope there's going to be an impromptu match that will occur on that pre-show. But if not, that's what they're trying to entice you with, to check it out. I'll still be watching it regardless. So for those of you that won't be able to watch that, have no fear. We have you covered. Let's talk about, we've got so far on this day, and today is Wednesday, October 22nd. This is the card as it stands right now. Of course, the card is subject to change, but here's the way it's looking right now. We have Dolph Ziggler, who is going to be defending his Intercontinental Championship against Antonio Cesaro in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Man, yeah, no, I look at this match right here. I think about the fact that we had saw Dolph Ziggler go through a crazy 24-hour period at the last pay-per-view. If I'm not mistaken, it was I want to say it was Night of Champions. We had saw him lose the championship to The Miz, but then he won the championship belt back the very next night on Raw, and since then he's been having some pretty solid matches or whatnot, but this seems to be one of the first big major tasks that he's had as the current Intercontinental Champion in Cesaro. 2 out of 3 falls match. You know, it's rare that we get these type of matches nowadays, at least on pay-per-view. I have a strong feeling that this is going to be one of those matches that's going to have a lot of people talking about the most when they just think back on the entire night of the pay-per-view. 2 out of 3 falls. That's going to be a damn good one right there. Honestly, I haven't seen enough yet from Cesaro to make me say, okay, you know, on this night, we're going to see a new Intercontinental Champion be crowned. Also find it a little bit odd that we're jumping the gun a little bit and we're going to a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental Championship between these two men, for the simple fact these guys, they're just getting started in their rivalry. Usually when I think about a 2 out of 3 falls match, it's usually the result of two people engage with one another in a feud for a series of a few months. So for it to just kind of happen off the break, kind of question the way the booking is on this one, but At the same time, I think this type of match, as well as some of the other matches that's going to be happening at Hell in a Cell, is needed. A little bit of extra kick, a little bit of an extra is definitely needed to this particular pay per view. After all, we do not have the WWE Championship belt being represented, and not to mention, I just want to remind you guys that there is a all points bulletin out for that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. If you've seen it in any type of form, I believe there is a reward of $9.99 that is going to be offered if anybody has any information as far as the whereabouts of that championship belt. Be prepared that if you do see that belt and you happen to get your hands on it, it may be oily and it may smell of some serious cologne and maybe a little bit of sweat. A little inside joke right there. If you guys don't get that, you need to go online and do some research right there. But no, getting back to Dolph Ziggler, I really don't see any indication that Ziggler is going to be losing the Intercontinental Championship to Cesaro, at least not in this really first big epic encounter for the Intercontinental Championship. Ziggler for the win. Goldust and Stardust will be defending their tag team championship belts against Jimmy and Jey Uso. How about that weird Know Your Bro segment that we saw on Main Event this week? I mean, I cringed as I was watching that. I just was like, can we get on with the damn wrestling already? You know, these two tag teams, they have been going at it on Raw, Main Event, SmackDown. They've been going at it heavily for the past several weeks. But despite that, I still feel that they're gonna deliver a good 3.5 to 4 star quality type of a match. This one, you know, I feel rather confident in Golden Stardust, or as I've been dubbing them the past several months, the Golden Ones. I'm really not picking up any type of a vibe that Jimmy and Jey Uso are going to get the tag team belts back. If it was me and I was booking this, I would actually have Jimmy and Jey Uso go over just to kind of switch it up a little bit, just to kind of throw people off. But honestly, I think Star and Goldust, they still have that aura about them. They still, I feel, kind of mesmerize and captivate the fans to a certain extent. I still feel that there is a lot of great work that can be done with the brothers, but there really needs to be a laid out plan. It just kind of seems like within recent weeks they've just been kind of, and I think that's probably been a result of when they were turned heel. I mean, they had fans really going over in their favor when they were baby faces and all, but ever since they were turned heels, or I don't know what you want to call it, but definitely a bit of a identity crisis right now, as they were originally over with the WWE Universe, and until something gets fine-tuned with the brothers, I think at least for another month, we're probably going to see the Golden Ones hold on to the tag belts. Would I be surprised if they were to drop the straps on an episode of Raw or SmackDown? No, I wouldn't be surprised. But Hell in a Cell night, I'm looking at those guys to go over. I think the real question we need to be asking ourselves is, how much longer is Star and Goldust going to be feuding with the Usos? Because, you know, when you just look at the tag team division right now, it's rather kind of thin, so we could definitely use another tag team stable to come up. I don't know, could that maybe come in the form of Luke Harper, Eric Rowan? I mean, honestly, we keep hearing all this buzz about they're free. They've been set free by Bray Wyatt. They're free, they're free. Okay, well, they're free from Bray Wyatt as they each embark on their own career path or whatnot, but I would still keep those two guys together as a tag team. You know, quite honestly, I think it's silly that the Wyatt family is breaking up, at least this version.
But if we could still at least see Harper and Rowan continue to team up, you would just think, I mean, just put two and two together. It makes a lot of sense for them to remain a team, as the tag division needs some serious depth. Unless you're also going to get ready to call up the Ascension. Honestly, I think you got to have Harper, Rowan continue to remain a tag team and bring up the Ascension to the main roster. Let them stop playing with the little boys and come up to the main roster where the big boys play. But again, going back to Golden Stardust taking on the Usos, I'm looking at the Rhodes brothers to retain. Age is defending her Divas Championship belt against Paige. Weird one right here, man. Very weird one right here. Last pay per view, we actually had saw AJ Lee go over Paige in retaining her championship. So, how's things gonna come around this time? As Paige, it just seems like week in, week out, she's continuing to build some pretty decent momentum for herself. She's paired up with Alicia Fox. Seems like you got a lot that's going on right there with that combination. Meanwhile, AJ Lee, and I know it's not AJ Lee's fault, but it just kind of seems like the creative in WWE has kind of taken a step back. They really haven't been utilizing her to her fullest extent. We all know what AJ Lee is capable of as a character. Remember, there was that time there where she was the Raw GM. That's how white hot she was. She was so popular when she was coming up on the Raw roster there. It just kind of seems like nowadays she's just kind of floating there. This match is too close to call right here, quite honestly. Honestly, for me, if I was booking this match in particular, I would actually have Paige go over AJ Lee. I feel that Paige has proven that she deserves another shot, another run as the Divas champion. And with Alicia Fox in her corner, honestly, yeah, maybe one or two more girls, you can have yourself a nice little diva stable, which would then kind of force AJ Lee to be in a situation where people that she did not get along with, well, she would actually have to try to get along with some of those girls if she wishes to become the Divas champion again. So, really kind of makes you wonder right there. But on the other flip side to this, I'm grateful that AJ Lee, Paige, they can finally have the match that they were originally supposed to have. Because remember, Night of Champions, it was AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella versus Paige for the belt. It was a triple threat Divas match. So I'm really glad that Paige, AJ Lee, they finally get to have the one-on-one match that they were supposed to have originally without all the silly little diva interference. But I'm going for a turn the page right here. I'm looking at Paige as the winner. By the way, the Rampage, that finisher, I think she should call it Turn the Page. I think that should be the name of her finisher. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think that'd be pretty awesome. While we're talking about divas, let's go on ahead and let's tackle the next divas match, which is Brie Bella taking on Nikki Bella, where the stipulation was added that if the for the person that loses, they will have to become the winner's personal assistant for 30 days. And if they do not comply, and I would assume if they don't comply with being an assistant for that 30-day duration, if they give any type of resistance or say, you know what, I've had it, I'm done with this during that 30-day period, I would assume then they would be forced to quit the WWE or forced to resign. Nice way of saying basically they'll be fired from the WWE. You know, we really haven't been feeling the presence of Stephanie McMahon in this whole Bella fiasco. Stephanie's kind of taken a step back as the weeks have progressed, yet storyline wise, you got to kind of remind yourself that, okay, for this type of match to occur, surely Nikki Bella Maida came up with the idea and she got the green light by Stephanie McMahon. So, if so, then you're kind of saying to yourself, okay, well, to a certain extent, Stephanie McMahon is still pulling the strings in the back. So, we definitely need to see more Stephanie in the coming weeks get back involved in this Bella fiasco pending the outcome of who is the assistant for the other. But I'm looking at this particular match. The real question that I think needs to be put out there, boys and girls, is who is struggling more from this program? Because whoever is struggling more from this program, then they need to be that winner's assistant so that the WWE universe can get on that loser's side and rally them up and all that. And as I'm looking at it from that type of a standpoint, I gotta be honest, Brie, as pretty as she is, both Bellas are pretty, but I'm more inclined to Brie. Brie's got a more natural type of beauty to her, whereas Nikki looks pretty enhanced, is the nice way I can put it without putting her down. Brie just continues to struggle on the microphone. There's no charisma. I mean, hell, there are just some nights where if you want to compare Brie's work to a Randy Orton, Randy just shines so freaking bright. Brie needs a lot of work, and honestly, I think it's been kind of smart the way WWE has been setting her up in recent weeks. We've seen her adopt Daniel Bryan's Yes Chance. That seems to be working over the WWE universe, as you know, they're trying to play off of her, and whether or not they're doing the Yes Chance for her, with her, or they're doing the Yes Chance just so they can feel like they're part of something, totally up for debate. But WWE has tried time and time and time again to get Brie Bella over, and I commend them for that, because it just kind of seems to me, when you just kind of first go back to when the Bellas have first came to the WWE and you see their work, you're saying, man, these girls are pretty bad. A lot of us had thought they were going to be gone by now, but you know, I think they really aren't given enough credit as it is. You know, I keep hearing the same thing. Well, if it wasn't for the guys that they are married to, they would have been done a long time ago. They would have been released. I beg to differ. It's not every day that you have two beautiful girls that are twins that want to have something to do with the wrestling business and continue to stay involved in the wrestling business. They could have went off and done other things if their heart desired, but they continue to stay involved in the wrestling business, and it shows as their in-ring work. You just compare where they're at now in 2014 to when they have first made their debut. What are we talking, guys? I think they've been in the WWE now, if not for 6 years, at least maybe almost 5 years they've been in the WWE. They've come a long way. They really have, especially with Nikki Bella. I think this little program that's going on right here would definitely make Nikki Bella shine even more as a badass bitch, and would really make WWE fans rally more in support of Brie Bella, as you gotta have that next top babyface diva that can be right up under AJ Lee. And I think the opportunity that's going to be given to Brie, it's a really nice golden opportunity. If she can't make this program with Nikki Bella work, then honestly, they're going to have to move on to something else. I hate to say that, but they're going to have to move on from Brie. So this could very well be her last opportunity. But once again, I'm looking at Nikki Bella to win this match against Brie. Let's continue on. We have Big Show taking on Rusev. Looking at this match right here, I can't help but say to myself, how much of a factor is Mark Henry going to be? Remember, we had saw Big Show and Rusev fight on Monday Night Raw. Mark Henry came in. He tried to show a little bit of support. Rusev hit him. This would piss off Mark Henry. Mark Henry would come in, attack Rusev. Referee had no choice but to disqualify Big Show, award the victory to Rusev. Big Show was a little bit upset, but he understood Mark Henry's position, why he did what he did, why he interfered. Could we see lightning strike twice again? Honestly, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think that's what needs to happen. Honestly, I see this match playing out in a way where Big Show, he comes very close to defeating Rusev, but Rusev is able to turn the tides. You know, for months, and I was one of the first to say that what was going on with Rusev, in particular destroying the African American wrestlers and Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, Big E Langston, was basically like Clobber Lang destroying the hell out of Rocky Balboa that first go round. And it meets that, and it's also got that combination of the Russian from Rocky 4, where he killed Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. Just looking at all those nice little combinations there, I'm saying to myself, okay, so what's going to happen this go round? Honestly, if I was booking this, I would have Rusev just be literally, towards the end of the match, that is, he would just be destroying the hell out of the Big Show. I could see Big Show being very dominant at key points, but maybe Lana, does something. Maybe she gets a pair of brass knuckles. Something weird is going to happen where there's going to be one key spot that'll just turn the tides in Rusev's favor. I can see Mark Henry coming out, trying to rally the Big Show again. And, it sucks that we're in the day and age in wrestling where blood really isn't that popular anymore, because I would love to see a bloodied up Big Show who's trying to go into this match, fight for America, fight for that soldier that had got a side kick to the face by Rusev on Monday Night Raw. And, just taking all that passion, everything that's been happening, trying to rally up the troops, the WWE Universe in this match against Rusev, but comes up very short because Mark Henry decides that Big Show cannot take it anymore, and he literally throws in a towel. And I could definitely see sparks fly as a result of that. I don't think that would be the tipping point right then and there. I think it would probably take about maybe 2 to 3 more weeks for Big Show, Mark Henry to explode. But then, meanwhile, you got to say to yourself, well, who's next for Rusev if he's going to be able to get past Big Show? Who's the next person? All signs are kind of indicating that maybe somewhere down the road, maybe it could be a certain fella. But I'm looking at Rusev to pick up the victory over the Big Show. Speaking of fella, let's go on ahead and let's jump right into it. Sheamus taking on Miz. Singles match for the United States Championship. I really have been loving the work of Miz and Miz Sandow. Hilarious stuff. It just seems like those guys get better and better every single week. Great comic relief. I mean, Sandow has been able to really benefit big time from this. He really is outshining the hell out of the Miz. It's not really about the Miz anymore. It's all about what is up with Sandow. What's he going to do next? Gotta watch. Gotta see what he's going to do. He honestly is what has been making this program interesting, in my honest opinion, between Sheamus and The Miz. Because honestly, there really isn't anything there. There's really no substance, or as I like to say, there's really no meat and potatoes. Where's the beef? There's really nothing, there that you can sink your teeth into, as it's really been all Sandow. And honestly, I think what needs to happen next, you need to take Sheamus, put him over The Miz, so that Sheamus can get into a program with Rusev for that United States Championship. It's time. It needs to happen. Rusev, He's definitely working the fans over. You guys that have been watching WWE programming, some of you may not like Rusev for whatever reasons, but you all could definitely admit one thing. This guy combined with Lana, those two get reactions from the WWE universe, and that's what it ultimately is about as far as wrestling goes. Getting some type of a reaction. Any reaction is better than hardly to none, or no reaction is what I was trying to say. But Sheamus, he needs to win this. He needs to win this. If WWE is seriously serious, that's a funny one, about Rusev, put the United States Championship belt on him already. Let's move on to our next match. Not that many more to talk about. Let's go on ahead and let's tackle Dean Ambrose taking on Seth Rollins. Hell in a Cell. Interesting matchup right here. You know, I'm looking at this particular match and I'm saying to myself, one Hell in a Cell match will reflect the other. That's how I'm looking at it. All right. So, keeping that in mind, thinking about the events that happened on Monday Night Raw, where we saw Seth Rollins, he did a curb stomp to Randy Orton. If I'm booking this, I would actually have the Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins match happen before the main event match, and I'm hoping that's the way that it is gonna go down, because I need to see Randy Orton make some type of a cameo in this match, whether it's some type of a backstage segment or Randy Orton, he gets involved somehow in this Hell in a Cell match. Something needs to happen. If it was me and I was booking this, I would actually have Randy Orton be under the mat, under the ring, the entire time of Dean Ambrose taking on Seth Rollins. And I would actually have, at like some point, maybe Dean Ambrose is down, he's trying to collect himself. Seth Rollins, he thinks he's got this match in the books. Out of nowhere, we see Randy Orton, and honestly, that's what needs to happen, because Randy Orton has something that I think is really golden and quite popular that's going on for him right now, all throughout social media. If you look up Randy Orton, I'm sure you will see all the videos that's floating around as of late of Randy Orton just delivering RKOs out of the clear blue. A lot of hilarious, funny stuff that you guys that haven't checked it out yet, you're going to be laughing your butts off when you see it. And I think WWE, they've been doing a really great job as of late of paying attention to what the fans are saying as they've been bringing it up on their shows. A good example is Monday Night Raw. We see John Cena talking to Dean Ambrose, and he says to him, you know, as far as the comic book goes, you know, I don't really see you as Batman. I see you more of the Joker. And he walked away. You know, everybody's been saying that for a long time since Dean Ambrose has come up in the WWE. Hey, he kind of operates like Heath Ledger's the Joker. You know, it's like little things like that, and more examples that I'm not going to bore you with, shows to me that people in WWE, they are paying attention to what's being said on social media. And honestly, I think that with all the videos, hilarious videos at that's going around of Randy Orton delivering those RKOs to people, this would be a really great time to start capitalizing on that. I say, out of nowhere, Randy Orton, he slithers, does the RKO. You know that's going to give him a really great pop. All right, that's it for Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose picks up the win. Real question you need to be saying to yourself, though, is, okay, so then what's next for Dean Ambrose? Does this mean that now that he's gotten his victory over Seth Rollins, does he move on to bigger and better things? What exactly is going to happen right here? We haven't exactly heard a stipulation that Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, win, lose, or draw, that this is the final time, you know, this is going to be it. So kind of makes me wonder if maybe Seth Rollins might come out the next night on Monday Night Raw or whatever, demand a rematch, and win, lose, or draw, you know, that's pretty much it. Kind of makes you wonder, but I'm looking at Dean Ambrose to pick up the win. Now, to kind of follow up on the whole Mick Foley aspect to it, you guys will definitely get where I'm coming from with that little reference. Will the match be as gory? Will it be as bloody? Will it be as physical? Living up to the classic Hell in a Cell matches? That remains to be seen. I've seen a little bit of Dean Ambrose work on the indies before he came to the WWE. He's definitely capable of going the extreme. Seth Rollins, I think he could possibly go there. Dean, I definitely know about. Seth, I'm not really that sure about. But I think they're going to deliver a classic match. I don't think we're going to be disappointed. But look for Randy Orton to interfere in that match. Main event match. John Cena takes on Randy Orton. Hell in a Cell match to determine the number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Supposedly, this is going to be the final time that John Cena and Randy Orton will face one another. Just to cover all bases, I'll just go out on a limb and say this will be the final time, at least in 2014, that we will see John Cena and Randy Orton feud with one another. Bearing that in mind, this is probably going to be the 49th, 50th, or 51st time that John Cena and Randy Orton has gone one-on-one. Remember, these guys have been going at it since 2002. You know, honestly, if I was booking this, I would have Randy Orton go over John Cena. Just for the simple fact that I think it would be badass to have a new feud come about where we see Randy Orton take on Brock Lesnar for the championship belt, which would then kind of create that whole question of, well, damn, what's going to happen with not Brock Lesnar, but what's going to happen with Seth Rollins? Is Seth Rollins going to possibly interfere in this matchup that's going to be happening with Randy Orton and Batista? You know, what exactly is going to happen right there? Is Seth Rollins going to be looking to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase? Will he be successful at that? What's going to happen right there? But I would do the Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar match because it's new. I know we have a lot of people that's out there. They're a little bit tired of John Cena, Brock Lesnar continuing to collide. And I can respect where folks are coming from with regards to that. But the way I would book it, this is where it gets very tricky because remember, they're going to be the new number one contender to take on Brock Lesnar. And seeing as how you have what's been going on with Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, you kind of can't help but say to yourself, well, damn, you know, looking at that main event match and thinking about how I had just set up Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, will Seth Rollins be able to recover in time and screw Randy Orton out of this victory over John Cena? So then, will it be John Cena that goes over and will face Brock Lesnar one more time? Meanwhile, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, they do their thing. Very close to call right here. Very close to call. If I was booking this, I would actually have Randy Orton go over John Cena. Will that happen at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view? I don't think it will. And it's very unfortunate because I would love to see Randy Orton take on Brock Lesnar. It's just fresh. It's new. Endless creative possibilities right there if you really put your brain to it. I definitely am very curious what you guys would like to see happen with regards to that particular match. Who would you like to see go on to face Brock Lesnar out of that match between John Cena, Randy Orton? I have a feeling a lot of you guys would probably say Randy Orton. I'm sure you all would probably come up with some very intuitive ways that feud would be very interesting. But let's recap now. So I have Dolph Ziggler retaining his Intercontinental Championship over Cesaro in that 2 out of 3 falls match. Meanwhile, Star and Goldust will retain their tag championships over the Usos. I have a Paige Turner, as I'm looking at Paige to become the new Divas champion. Big Show will lose to Rusev. Look for a little bit of Mark Henry interference as a result of that. Meanwhile, Sheamus will retain his United States Championship. Nikki Bella will go over Brie, and as a result, Brie will become Nikki's personal assistant for 30 days. But is it Brie that will really be the victor in those 30 days? Things that make you go, Meanwhile, in our first Hell in a Cell match, I am looking at Dean Ambrose to go over Seth Rollins with a little bit of payback, courtesy from Randy Orton, as Randy will do a little bit of interference. And in the main event match, very close to call, again, I can't stress it enough, if I was booking this, I would have Randy Orton go over John Cena. But the way things kind of go, when you got Cena involved in these type of match situations, time has proven that it's not a smart move to bet against the C Nation. I'm looking at John Cena to pick up the victory, despite how passionate I would love for Randy Orton to be the one to be victorious. Hey, what are your match predictions? We'd love to hear from you. Post those comments down below for those of you checking this out on YouTube. Also, you can interact with us on Twitter at the RCWR Show or on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. And don't forget, this Sunday night at 10:50 p.m. Eastern, or immediately after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view goes off the air, it's the RCWR Show Live. It's our simulcast. We will have that be on YouTube. You can catch us live. We are going to be laying it down. We're also going to be launching on Blog Talk Radio. So we're going to do a special simulcast because as far as I know, we're not going to have our broadcast partner Titus Machiavelli with us. So we're going to dust off the old Blog Talk Radio and do the simulcast that way, and also on YouTube. So do join us for that. Should be very exciting. Remember, for all the very latest in wrestling news and beyond, be kind, rewind. We got great episodes for you guys to check out on the downloads: iTunes, Stitcher, Tunein Radio, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher. We're everywhere. Use the keywords The RCWR Show. And for those of you that have not subscribed to us yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. Make sure you give this piece a thumbs up. Share it a number of ways. You can Facebook it, Google Plus it, retweet it. Always one of the ways to spread a good word about our content. Until we see you at 10:50 p.m. Eastern for that Hell in a Cell post-show simulcast here on YouTube and on Blog Talk Radio. Please be safe and, most importantly, be kind to one another. See you next go around. Everybody, do take care.